For the crown of the Merriam Public Art meeting.
Oh, that's yeah, I do. I like the way they look right now.
So tell me why you love it.
Well, I live right next door to the mayor, but I'm in
I don't know what the mayor is like there.
67th and Antioch, pretty much.
Okay,
It's on Bourbon
Antioch,
Street.
Antioch and 67. What's Shawnee Mission
Jordan is our
Parkway?
lead.
If I,
No, Christopher has.
are you south of that, north of that?
On the south
Here
of
comes
Shawnee
George.
Mission
Yeah.
Parkway.
Christopher has an event.
We're a little pocket neighborhood
Julie
right
has-
across.
Just
from
don't
the
smash
park.
my hat, bud.
Can I slide it over here?
Just a little bit
What's
south
that?
of
Can I
the
slide it
park.
over?
Yes, yeah. Those are my glasses too.
Christopher's was like some sort of historic designation.
the
site.
demo came.
It might be the same thing.
Probably, she's like.
And you're over there too, or you're going?
No, I'm, near Jerry. I'm on, Hadley, close to Hadley and West 55th Terrace.
Okay.
So, but it's not cut through, it's a U-shaped
All right, gang.
street.
I'm gonna call this, this event to order. You've already had the roll call. First action item, the minutes of May 9th. Did everybody who was present previously have an opportunity to review those minutes? And do I have a motion to approve those minutes?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of May 9th, the 15-minute meeting.
And then we will dive right into. Yes. Thank you.
Before we.
I've already met him, so you know. We have two new
Jordan, you
members.
seconded?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
Can I ask how the new members, Vanessa, how did you come to Merriam? Are you new to Merriam? Have you been here forever?
11 years, and we just found the house that we loved in Merriam, so we moved here 11 years ago and have been here ever since.
Where were you before Merriam?
Prairie Village for a couple years, yeah.
And you
And-
had,
What's your name?
Vanessa. I'm Vanessa.
You're Vanessa.
And
okay.
Jerry?
Yeah, Sherry Becker. Yeah.
and you have a child at Crestview?
I do, yeah, he's gonna be in 6th grade.
Oh, wow. I went to Crestview.
Yep,
Did you?
I did not.
My daughters went to trustee school,
Yeah.
as we called it,
Yeah.
trustees.
And it was the old school. And your Clara goes there.
Yeah, my son started there the year after they built the new building. So
The new
I was like,
building's
wow, brand
great.
new building,
I know, it's
kindergarten,
really
here we go.
nice.
Yeah.
And.
I'm
Go ahead.
Christy
There you
Nelson,
go.
hi.
Hi.
How's it going?
Good.
Christine lives 3 doors down from me.
Yeah.
And then we never see each other as neighbors, but we see each other like many circles together.
circles.
Yes, I love it. It's like, hey
Fantastic.
neighbor.
And Christine now shares the wall with me in the Livestock Exchange
Yes.
building.
Oh, neat.
Oh, that's funny.
We don't share a door, but we share a wall.
We could share a door.
No, we're not sharing a door. No, we're not sharing
There's a door there, but.
No, there's
she's
two
locked up pretty
doors.
tight.
There's several doors. But, and I did not know you were in Merriam until your friend Sarah Nelson
Oh.
told me that.
Okay.
I didn't know, I mean, how would I know you?
We had so many other conversations, like we go to the same vet in
Vet.
Warren,
We do go to the same
We
vet.
don't go to one here, we go all
All
the
the
way
way to
to
Lawrence.
What vet do you go to?
Bradley, Dr. John Bradley.
He's
It's
amazing.
because of family. Okay, my
Mine
family,
is just he's worth going to. He's like the Meredith
Yeah.
Grey of veterinary. Like, he will look through and look for treatments. He's called my mom at like 10 o'clock at night
Oh,
and been
yeah.
like,
Oh my
I
gosh.
found this for the dog. And
he's brilliant, he went to K-State, one of the best vet schools in the country. And he's compassionate,
he's very good.
and, our 17-year-old cat goes there, and the cat before that, and the cat before that, and cat before that. So, we always go to Lawrence for our vets.
I had to put my parents' dog down while they were on vacation and it was there, so that's when I switched, cause I was like, oh my god, you're an amazing doctor.
Yes, he is amazing.
All right.
Hi.
Well, welcome, both of you. Yeah.
We are, just so you are aware, we are missing a couple people tonight. We have other candidates, but generally.
Yeah, and you both saw and read her email on coma in terms of, meeting rules and regulations for the state of Kansas. Okay, that's very important. I think you
Just
recognize
don't
that.
reply all.
Yeah, that's easy.
Just like
Yeah,
email
that's
people
easy.
individually.
It's my BCC.
It's like a thing.
Yeah, don't gather in groups of us more than 3 and have conversations.
Yeah. It's a good life rule, I mean,
Okay.
in general.
It is. Well said, it is. No, you're right. All right, was there anything else either of you wanted to add to why you're here, anything like that, or you're good to go? Okay, just everyone leave you
Pick
without
up on
opportunities.
everyone else's names.
Oh, yeah.
Go to Stacy.
I'm Stacy, I'm the council member, so I'm non-voting on the committee, just FYI.
We have, we have two members?
Yes.
Yeah, 2 city council members that just sit as representatives of the city council. Sorry, Jordan.
Jason's
Jordan.
here.
What?
This
Your
is
name?
Jan.
Your name?
Jan.
Jan.
Introduce
Jan's
yourself.
good.
Oh,
Yeah.
we did introduce ourselves.
Yeah.
Okay,
Just making
as a
sure.
group,
And I'm sure
yeah.
if you could.
And you guys met me, I'm Sean. I'm the chair of the committee. So.
And then Lauren.
Yep.
who's been
Why
emailing
can't
you.
the city council people vote?
They do not get to vote.
Cause we
Why
don't,
not?
cause we don't want them sticking their nose in.
Okay.
We then, because we still have to approve it,
Yeah.
and then,
Oh,
and,
yes.
yeah, like you'll make a recommendation to council, and then as council members, we sit up there and vote on it after the recommendation's been made. So when
Okay,
they
okay.
reinstated the committee, that was the decision that was made. That wasn't what was true in the past, but it was kind of an ad hoc committee that didn't have a lot of like bylaws in the past. And so when they reinstated it last year, we wanted to be really a lot more rigid and make sure it kind of was following all the rules and guidelines that all of our other committees do. Did I answer that correctly?
Yeah.
But on the old committee, when you started out in that, when
Yeah.
Terry and Janine, you could vote because you weren't.
I wasn't a council member then.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
This is what made me want to be a council member.
Oh, all righty.
Full circle.
Yeah.
Alright. Our next item is the master plan, correct? So for historical, when we first started this committee, there were some thoughts and decisions around the idea that we should probably formalize how we are going to approach both, well, a lot of things. How we're gonna approach where we have opportunities to put our work. What are the processes to do that? How do we reach out to artists? How do, all placemaking locations, concepts of how to do that, whether we do long-term maintenance of the art, all these different things that can be codified within a semi-official document for future committees to use to be consistent in our approach as a city. And so that's why we went through the laborious and I think more difficult than most of us realized it would be process of creating that document. Kudos to our group because it was not easy. And I think a lot more involved than I think we anticipated. Now, some of that was our own decision because we did choose a non-traditional company and person to help us with that. Instead of going with just a traditional corporate entity that the city would normally use, we went with a single individual who had, we hoped, a lot more ability to be creative with us in that approach, which, as we all know, creative people, need.
Flexibility.
Yeah, and-
Virgos and
and-
Capricorns.
Yeah, so it was a great process, I think, for all of us to kind of go through. But it was long and we're glad to be here at this point today. So, quick history lesson, so. With that, I'll let you take the next steps on what we're gonna do.
So this is the same version that I shared with you guys last week. It's not the first. It's many drafts in, but the first one that is essentially fully designed and written. So hopefully you've had a chance to review it. There weren't, a ton of major changes from any past draft that you may have read. So, yeah, if you have questions about it or concerns still about it, the
Well,
things that need
what's
change.
left, what you said it's essentially complete, what's left to, I
There's
missed
like
that.
very minor, like we are very particular about the final product editing and making sure that like every street name is correct. Well, not only is correct, but
Right.
like it's W period
Yeah.
57th Street or
Right.
whatever.
Yeah.
So
Consistently that way.
Yeah.
and consistently throughout the document. So
Okay.
it's the fine details.
Like the copy editing.
Yes, copy
final-
editing
final copy.
phase of it, yes. So that was the only,
Content-wise.
content-wise, it's done,
Okay.
so,
Right.
yes.
And that's what we're, as a committee voting on today is, the content readiness
Yeah.
to move forward, so.
So if you all are happy with what you've seen and you're ready for this thing to be a final document, then staff will make the final copy editing edits to it and then move it on to city council.
This is our other council, city
Hi.
council
Jason.
representative,
Hi,
Jason.
Sorry I'm late, I was stuck in a work meeting.
Oh, so fun.
Vanessa and Christine are our new member, Christine.
Yes.
Oh, I have a hard time.
I'm not sure, Christine Brinkley, no.
Um,
I usually go by Christy and I spell it the way she spells it, which is why I said that.
Okay.
It's not working out, so
Got
yeah.
it.
Christine,
Okay.
either or, sorry, yes.
There are new members, yep.
Yes.
Alright. So if no one has any substantive comments or last minute things they wanna, like starting over or.
Oh.
Please,
I want to say one positive thing. I enjoy all the photos in this.
Yeah.
I just love the photos because I didn't realize where some of the things were, like the old school, the old, Jerry, help me.
Walker.
Yes, Walker's School and how they changed it. We tried one time to find that and couldn't. So I thought the photos, I love the photos.
Yeah, to add to that, I've learned so much about Merriam.
Yeah.
I mean, that I
Mhm.
didn't know, would never know. It was
Yeah,
great.
And that was the first document I saw where I could actually maybe try to figure out which board I would.
Oh, yeah.
You're not gonna look there.
Larger, larger.
Thank Walker.
Yeah, they like to confuse things.
Alright, that being said, I would entertain a motion to, have this move forward to the city council. Would anyone like to make that motion? Jan?
Yeah,
Yeah,
go
Do
for
I
it.
have a second?
I will second it.
It's done.
Cherry.
Yeah.
Alright.
So exciting.
Alright, and no other comments in regards to that.
Mm-mm.
So let's move to an item in which the last meeting I asked everyone, just as so we can kind of set a methodology and a dialogue for how we view each other's, ideas, how we respectfully speak to those ideas, that there are a lot of different perspectives that bring people to public art, and I think we need to all contextualize that, for lack of a better word. That's really it, and just kind of start a dialogue, because we're gonna move into the phase where we're actually going to be looking at, sending out RFPs for art, and we're gonna be looking at art, and we need to have a way to have that dialogue with each other that is both productive, efficient, and respectful. So I thought this little exercise might help us set that tone, for lack of a better word, so. And she has me first, which.
You gotta set the tone.
Yes, exactly right. So, okay, so, I actually chose a piece of artwork that isn't necessarily my favorite aesthetic piece of artwork in the world. However, it is one of the most, it set my interest in art as a young kid. It was one of the first pieces of artwork that I ever recognized as public art and discovered it. So it's at a rest area. I don't know if anyone knows of this piece of artwork. Yep, it is an amazing, really it's an amazing piece of art because of where it is, why it's there, and it really changed my perception as a young man, a little kid, of what art means. Is it one of the greatest pieces of artwork ever made? No. Is it my favorite piece of artwork out there as I've gotten older? No. But is it one of the most important to affect me from a public art perspective? Absolutely. Hence why I chose this piece of work. It is on I-70 at a rest area, just east of Paxico, as it says. And you gotta hike up a trail and get up on the hill to even find it.
Oh, cool.
Only-
I've been to that restaurant 1,000 times. I was like, how did I not know where that is?
Yeah, and it's awesome. I highly recommend going up there, and I really highly recommend that you pound on it because it vibrates and makes this incredible rich tone when you do that. Which, you know, as a little kid, that's what I did, right? and you can. I mean, it's up there to be a part of, you know, its environment. So you can see it from the interstate in the winter. You can't necessarily see it unless you're really looking for it in the summer because of tree leaves and things like that. So I highly recommend you go there and see it. I don't know what
This
it
is not a part of it. I
No.
don't know why that is showing us.
I've
What
never
is
done
I'm
that.
so sorry.
Yeah.
It's like a
It's like
snippet of
Something.
of one of my emails about them joining the public art.
It's a full quote.
Yeah,
I don't know
so-
why it's there.
So the last thing I would say on that is, again, why I chose it is because, you know, in what we're doing, it isn't necessarily always about what is the thing that I like the most or this is the coolest piece of art. We have to think about it that people see these from their own point of view, that everyone comes to them differently. And so don't underestimate the view of any of the other members or our audiences in Merriam. Be willing to think outside your normal comfort zone when we're going through this process, is all I would say. And then articulate your ideas and your feelings about it as respectfully as you possibly can. Because we're all pretty sensitive about art and our perspective on art, wouldn't, you know, so that's all I'll say. Yeah, that's it.
Where is Paxico?
Paxico is just east of Topeka.
But
So it's
Like
probably
Flint Hills.
20
Hills
minutes,
is-
20 minutes
yeah,
east of
yeah.
Topeka.
I know that
It's west
restaurant.
of-
Yeah.
It's
west
got, it's
of
real
Topeka,
steep, yeah,
east of
it's like a little,
Yeah.
it's a little,
And it's called
Like
the
a
Garden,
really
the Plains, because it is the official, about the official line where you enter the Flint Hills, so.
Well, it's great placement
It is.
with
Yeah,
that
yeah,
tree
it's
and
great.
love it.
Yeah, that's a
Love it.
great point. Placement's important for us, right? So,
Yes.
okay. Feel free to move on.
Oh, this is fun. Okay, so I chose Rachel B. Hayes. This one is located in a plaza in Denver. A lot of things that Sean said, I will say I also chose this for that. And I didn't choose it because like, oh my god, it's so pretty. I chose it because I love following this artist. She's a textile artist, first of all, which, you know, representative for me, so I love it. I love her just sort of view on her artwork. A lot of her stuff is temporarily installed, but she does not shy away from recognizing that it will age and it will weather and she will mend it and she will repair it and or change it, turn it into something else, and I love that. I also chose it because of just how people experience it, you know? This was made for this site, and the triangular shape is reminiscent of a building that it's attached to. The colors were inspired by a sunset from when she was flying to Denver to have a meeting about this piece and see the location. I love how she pulls so many things into it, and people will come back to this plaza, I believe, because day in and day out, they're going to experience it differently.
It's art in motion.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
How big of an area is that? Cause I'm not
It's-
into that plaza.
I
Like
could not find
half a
that,
football
but
field or,
it's,
or a couple hundred
seems-
feet or?
I have no idea, I couldn't
Yeah.
figure it out in all my digging, but it is, it's a
Looks
plaza in between like 3 buildings, you know, it's very big,
And
yes.
then those pavers are like a foot across.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right,
it-
exactly,
Yeah.
yeah, thank you.
Right, that's
Yeah.
just how my architect
I,
brain goes.
I like the idea of this because it's shade, you go
Yeah,
outside today,
oh.
what do you look for? Shade.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I looked at her website and she has this huge square at White Sands, National
Mhm.
Monument in New Mexico.
Yeah.
Which is just, expansive white, it's whiter than that wall, right? It's this huge piece of fabric on it, it's really
Yeah.
cool.
And she used, I love sewing machines, but, work closely with the makerspace at the Central Resource Library, and I just helped them acquire like the machine that she uses, and I mean, her stuff is massive. You are sewing things that weigh hundreds of pounds, and it's just, the process is so cool. It's textiles, but there's also like metal mesh in there. I mean, she uses so many different things with different transparencies and colors, and I don't know. Yes.
She lives in the Midwest, isn't she, in Tulsa?
She's in Oklahoma. She grew up in
This area, but she's now in Tulsa, so she could drive here, right?
Yeah.
In the head of
She went to KCAI, didn't she?
Yes.
Yeah, she did, yeah.
I saw that.
Graduated in the 90s, I believe.
Sure, the street fellow.
She got a Joan Mitchell.
Yeah, she got a Joan Mitchell fellowship.
Oh, this is another one. It was on sort of this catwalk bridge, and just throughout the day, it would bring people back, not only to visit the inside, to see it from the inside, but also people were flocking to the sidewalks around it at night, and I love that aspect of it, bringing people there time and time again, and just creating an experience, not just something to look at, really, experience.
She's born in Independence, Missouri. Which is where I was born.
She grew up there as well,
On the
so.
Harry Truman.
Jan,
I,
it's you.
yeah, I picked Willie Cole because personally I know him. And, I've known him for over 30 years. We were in New York together. He did ornithology at the airport, which is hard to view, I admit, with the ceilings being that way. This shot, Lorna, you got a better shot of this than I had of this. Yeah, it was, I didn't pull this up, but the next one,
I stole images off the internet.
yeah, the next
alright.
one after the
Yes.
airport, with Willie, is the one that I put in. Where is it? This one. We were in Miami at the Perez Museum, and this was in the main entrance on a wall. It's absolutely huge. It's made out of shoes, women's shoes, and I just loved it, and I thought it was fun, and I wanted it here in the lobby. When I go to the swimming pool, I wanted to be able to see it. Also too,
She's actually already purchased it.
yes, no, I don't think it can. Also, he has a studio right by us in the West Bottoms. He's been over for dinner. He likes Indian food. I mean, what's wrong with Willie? I mean, but there was so much I could pick. That just, it kind of surprised me, and I decided to go for fun. I thought, why not have some fun?
Willie Cole has also, I think, recently made, these big things that look like chandeliers,
Oh, yeah.
discarded plastic bottles.
Oh, yeah.
It's really
And they
cool.
are in Park Avenue.
Yeah, they're in New York on Park Avenue, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And he's a nice person. He's a real nice person.
Oh, my turn. So I didn't choose one piece. I kind of didn't follow the rules. So I don't know if anyone's been to Atlanta and has been on the Beltline in Atlanta. Is everyone familiar with the Beltline is? So the Beltline is an old transit line, I believe, that they decommissioned a long time ago, and it had been sitting vacant and kind of falling apart in Atlanta. And it loops the city as like a belt, so it's called the Beltline. And so it's a pedestrian space now. You can ride bikes on it. There's kind of parks that dot it. There's all kinds of development that's happening around it, like residential and restaurants and things like that. So I got stuck in Atlanta on like a 24-hour delayed flight, and we had no luggage or anything, so we're like, let's just go explore and get sweaty. So we walked part of this. The Ponce City Market is like a food hall kind of thing, and so we started at Ponce City Market and just kind of went south a little ways and back, but there's public art that dots it in all kinds of different ways, and some of that is as simple as calling out the native trees that they've planted along the Beltline, and just that education piece. I think that's really important with public art, in my opinion, because art can be anything, right? So just the experience of this is amazing, and like if you want to dig into their website, they have like a curation that they do every year. There's some pieces that are permanent, some that are not permanent. You know, they kind of rotate, but they have like a whole board that curates it every. So it's a very large scale space, but I just really loved the different, like the diversity of pieces that are along it, because some of it can be more experiential and some of it is more static, like what we already have. So I just was really drawn to that in Julia's narrative of our art that we already have, of like how so much of it is like more passive, and like how we could potentially have more interactive pieces. And our city is beautiful, and like just kind of thought of like the Turkey Creek Stream Big Trail, and like I don't know, like I have zero ideas of like where I would put art really, but like this was just like one of those things that I remember experiencing. My husband and I were like, you heard so much hype about the development of it, and like it's like an urban planning like dream of like doing this, and so we didn't get the hype until we experienced it, and we're like, oh, this is actually really cool. So
I hadn't heard of that, but it reminds me of that raised
Highline.
yes, the
Highland in
Highland.
New York.
That was another one of my thoughts, because we also were on the Highland the same year, and
Okay.
so it also a similar experience. But this is a little bit more meandering and a little bit more in nature, because it's not New York.
And it's
right?
pretty gritty in some places.
Yes.
I looked on the website.
Yes.
Yeah,
It
which
can,
kind of reminded me of Merriam.
it goes from, it
Some photos.
can go from some of it just being like a mural on a wall to just like kind of beautify an old building that's like dilapidated, right? Or it's like a really beautiful, like world-renowned sculpture artist, you know? So it's like this really stark comparison that I also kind of enjoyed.
This is
Oh, too bad
Julie's
Julie's
pick.
not here tonight.
Yes, she couldn't be here, but she did mention how she, like, I don't know that she even sent any images, I don't think she did. She was like, it's just so hard to capture what this is, so.
It just seems really immersive,
Yes.
and then it's like, looks like it's a really good like juxtaposition between man-made and nature.
So he also has a piece that's really similar at the Crystal Bridges Museum in Bentonville, Arkansas, so a little closer to home. And I've experienced that, and it's hard to describe. Like you feel kind of like closed off from all of your other kind of senses, and you're just like immersed in this like very large space that feels bigger than you. And I don't know, it was just really cool. It's amazing because it seems so simple.
Oh yeah, it's really just light.
He's really a master.
Yeah.
I remember at the, well, some, you I don't know how far we would go, but he uses this proprietary thing. He doesn't disclose to anybody how he lights these things. And at least at Crystal Bridges, the color of the sky changes. You have to go outside. You go, several times, I got out the window outside, and I thought, okay, the sky is still blue, and it's outside, and then it's like this green or, yeah.
He has a piece at the in Dallas. I can't think of what the museum's called in Dallas, so there, he also has a piece there that's more similar to this, like the square.
Do we know if that one was publicly or privately funded, out of curiosity?
At Crystal Bridges?
This
one here? I don't
particular,
know.
yeah,
Yeah.
curious.
Yeah.
That
Could
seems
find
like a really difficult public, funding project.
Well, we can't, there's no way we can afford, we could
So
afford James to help, but.
Yeah, yeah.
I did discover that the Kansas City Museum is currently working with him too.
Oh, is it?
They are, they're raising money for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Hopefully in 2026.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want this to go too far off this, but, I think of something like that, and I think of, opportunities with the potential for a walkway over Shawnee Mission Parkway.
There it is.
It's thinking like that. I mean, obviously, those things are way out of our budget, but, thinking outside of a traditional just concrete and steel thing going over that's completely utilitarian. Why isn't that an opportunity for us to inject funds from the art committee to help whoever's doing that, whether it's city funded or otherwise, to turn that into something that is truly a symbol of what Merriam is, could be, should be, etc. Obviously, that's a challenging thing from a funding perspective, but I think we would be remiss in not finding ways to try to force that conversation at least to happen. And something like this really triggers that idea in my head. So, sorry.
I think the master plan supports that sentiment.
I think it does, yes. Yeah, exactly.
So that second piece I showed on of Rachel Hayes.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was
I
the walkway.
thought of
The
the same
walkway,
thing.
and it's
Yeah.
called the Glass Bridge. And it's something, I don't know, I forgot what it's called, but essentially every 6 months they cycle a new experience
Sure.
in and out of there, and that's why she was part of it. She was the very first one, I believe.
That's
So it's
awesome.
like a new thing.
Yeah.
Well, the one on the right,
Is the outside
It's
of
the same
it?
thing.
It's
It's
the outside,
exterior.
yeah, yeah.
Oh, I
You
see.
can go
I
in
see.
from-
Okay.
Yeah, it kind of
No,
messes
no,
with your brain a little bit, doesn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah, it does
It's-
mine, yeah.
but I think
I
that's
like
a
it.
great idea. I mean, why not make it beautiful if you're
Right.
gonna walk over Shawnee Mission Parkway?
We have this incredibly dangerous highway in between everything that's important to us in the city,
Yeah.
with no way to safely walk across.
Yeah,
So,
right.
Would you include a path for animals?
Yeah.
they would be more than welcome across that bridge as well.
Yeah, yeah, you can have all the deer in
Just
my
posted
yard.
an RFP for engineers to look at
The
the
complaint
interchange.
ends.
So,
I experienced that interchange twice today and I both in my hair.
I'm certain that, Brian is tired of me beating that drum.
never.
All right, sorry.
Okay, this is Christopher, who couldn't be here, but there's a Word document. So this one, this was created by artist Robert Irwin, and it's a 134,000 square foot central garden that lies at the heart of the Getty Center in Los Angeles. And his statement, Robert Irwin's statement, always changing, never twice the same, is carved into stepping stones in the garden, a reminder of the ever-changing nature of this living work of art. So,
And it is gorgeous. I've never been there, but I've seen a lot of, images in it at different times of year, and it is absolutely gorgeous.
I've been there a couple times, it's pretty impressive. I think the second time I was there, it looked like some of the plants were suffering a little bit. But,
It's LA.
Robert Irwin was an extremely important artist, he died a couple years ago, and, he was a land artist, and an installation artist.
okay, who is next?
So we can't hire him, he's going through his reward.
This was the other one that he sent, so it's a fountain that surrounds this plaza. And go back to this whole thing.
Even if that weren't a fountain, it still to me is, has a lot of draw and opportunity from a,
Yeah.
Yeah.
to use our term placemaking kind of opportunity.
Yeah, It was,
Walkways are,
yeah, created as part of the Liverpool Biennial in 2016. And so when referencing ceramics from many cultures and historical periods, she is not bound by tradition, but rather uses it to explore relationships between structure, surface, and color. Her work is part of more than 50 public collections that has been the subject of numerous solo exhibitions at museums and galleries internationally. This commission for the Liverpool Biennial is a large-scale public artwork bronze fountain which refers to classical imagery and architectural decorations. It can be found next to the George's Dock ventilation tower.
Something very
Cool.
Yes. As part of the Liverpool Biennial Ancient Greece episode, her work refers to classical imagery and architectural decoration, combining sources that include Greek and Etruscan sculpture, Minoan and Egyptian art, Italian Baroque architecture, and paintings of Bonnard, Picasso, and Matisse.
awesome.
That's what I know.
Where's the fountain?
The fountain,
Is the fountain on the left? That-
no, the fountain, you see those little things going through there, those little loops?
Oh, the loops.
Those are copper pipes and they drip.
How do you know that?
I looked her up on the
Well, the
website.
water.
The
water with the
all
big
these
mouth.
people up
I didn't look at any.
because I thought, I am not reading the master plan again.
No, I didn't bother. So is it on a wall? It's
She
on
built-
a wall.
She,
Yeah.
she
Or
made
she
the
built
Like a
the wall.
separate
She
wall.
built the wall.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
And it's a neoclassical building with Art Deco decoration, so that's why she has a lot of Egyptian-esque figures in it.
I really wanna just like, man, I wanna see like the side profile.
I
you
know that like
Yeah, right.
stick out. It's
Yeah.
very textured. Yeah, it looks like.
But I'm guessing it's textured and the water runs down the,
Water drips down.
I
Yeah,
wanna see
you can
it.
see a video of it on.
Oh,
on the-
okay,
yeah.
I will look it up.
Had you heard of her before? I haven't.
I vaguely
I've
knew
never
her
heard
name,
of
but
it.
I didn't,
No.
but she's no spring chicken, and she's done a lot of stuff.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
gorgeous.
yeah.
It's gorgeous.
Yeah, this is me. This is downtown in the garment district. And I think it's a really fun piece with this big red button and this tall needle with string on it. And after I came across it on a bike ride one time, I saw that it was, I think it's catty corner to the Garment District Museum down there, and just went in and got a tour and learned all about the Garment District. And I think it's really fun that it can, for me, it opened my eyes to the whole history of that area. And it just makes me smile every time I see it.
I think it's also right next to the closed entrance to the trolley that used to go down to.
It
The
is.
bottom.
It's like right in that little triangle where this is. And I don't know anything about the artist. I should have looked that up. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Quick biographical note, when I was a kid, they were gonna close that there was a huge trestle that went down there. And my parents said they're gonna close it, so they took me on a ride down there, just days before it closed, which was pretty cool. Cause it was just like one of the regular streetcars that went down this incline.
And I was
Well, you guys don't remember the streetcars.
Went down to the bottom, went down 12th Street, down to the bottom into the west.
Yeah, it landed down on 12th Street,
Yeah.
yeah, it started at about 10, huh?
After 2 bridges failed, I was just reading about the history of that. They built 2 bridges and they were the incline was so steep that the cables would snap and send the streetcars all the way back
so
down
maybe
to
it's
the
cable,
west bottom.
maybe it's a
Well,
cable
that's
car,
good,
yeah.
knowing
And so then they tried to build another one that was less steep, and the same thing happened,
Yeah.
so they're like, well, let's do a tunnel then.
The tunnel, they used to open the tunnel like every once in a while for like walking tours, but it's become like Historic KC used to do that, but I think it's become pretty bad, so they don't do it.
Dangerous.
Yeah, I never got to do it, I was bummed.
The thing I like about your description is that there's a piece of art hidden kind of in here, but it drew you in to not only the piece of artwork, but then more into what's going on, why is it there? Well, oh, there's a museum here, and, you know, that kind of thing is really exciting to me.
The
Yeah.
history.
I like it, because it's really playful, but, has a story to it.
It's super playful.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
and the museum is really interesting too. If you guys haven't gone, you should. Oh, this is me too. Yeah, I mean, it's Calder red, it's huge, it stands out against all those black buildings, you can walk under it, it's great for pictures. What more can you ask for? I think it's awesome, I love it.
Definitely that placemaking component, right? Like with
Yeah.
like the master plan, really
Mhm.
wanted to like hone in on, right?
Yeah, why else would you wanna go around all these federal buildings
Yeah.
and stuff?
Yeah, it's really cool.
What's
Well,
your,
it was actually cool enough that they chose to feature it in the Blues Brothers too. It played a major part in that movie at the end.
as a
Yeah.
nerdy architecture student, yeah, like I would go look at the architecture of the buildings and like, oh, there's a Calder here also. Like,
Yeah.
That's fun. Well, this is the other piece I picked, as veteran members of the committee know, I'm concerned about the depredations that the Corps of Engineers is gonna work on Turkey Creek. So I chose a couple of pieces that I thought were, you know, in terms of placemaking, you know, the Turkey Creek with the market and whatever will happen across the street, going on down through the various little parks, which is so cool. I think that's the strongest piece of placemaking that we have in the city. And I just, you know, I hope it stays great. I mean, obviously we're not gonna have a wave field, but I like that. I was just thinking of things that are like organic, you know, what would you have that just really set off this, what could have been a terrible landscape, you know, what could you do?
Thanks.
I actually love this one when I came across your photo of it, I was like, that's amazing.
Yeah, it is, yeah. I saw it a couple years ago, and, they were doing some remediation work on it, but you could stand in one place and look out over it, was pretty cool.
Can you walk out there?
Yeah, you can, but they had closed it off because I think they were like replanting some areas and.
yeah, I was curious like how it, if it erodes or like how it stays, or is that part of it that the erosion?
Well, I think
causes-
the other just, yeah, and it's got a lot of big grasses on it, you know, and it's in a pretty, you know, north of New York City, it gets a lot of rain, so
Yeah.
it's just really.
That looks nice in the snow.
Huh?
I bet it looks pretty in the snow.
Yeah, I bet it does,
Yeah.
it does, yeah.
It reminds me a lot of the beauty of like farming terraces.
Yeah,
Mhm.
right, yeah,
Wow.
it just, yeah. and,
How did Storm King, I've been to Storm King many times, but how did it come about?
You know, I don't know.
I mean, I don't
it's
even
been-
know,
It's been there.
forever.
Yeah, there's an old, I think it was, oh, I know, it was somebody's estate, because there's an old house there that was the mansion. And they, I think collected a lot of things, and then they, just gave it to I don't know if it's part of the state or, I guess it's private foundation. But it's just packed full of amazing sculptures. And also another really great Andy Goldsworthy. Yeah. So I just, and thank you, Lauren, for adding the photograph of it going across, the wall going across Rock Hill Road.
I wasn't familiar with this one, so I had to do a little research about it to be like, what's with the wall?
Andy's been one of my favorite artists of all time.
Oh, yeah, he's amazing, and what I like about it is, that, it's, made of local materials, the rock that they found in an old quarry in the Flint Hills. And it also should recognize the Derbyshire Wallers, the guys who built it, because it is, you know, slightly tapered. It is perfect on both sides. The taper never varies. The level never varies, they were just amazing.
Did you spend time watching them?
I
just
did,
hanging
yeah,
out there?
several
Me too,
times,
I
yeah.
did too,
Yeah.
I just camped out and
Yeah.
watched.
Were you a docent at the museum that year,
Uh-huh,
right?
yeah.
Cause I remember you coming home and telling me about it, cause I had seen it on social media and I was asking you about it, you're like,
Yeah.
yeah, I've been sitting there watching them.
Yeah.
And I'm
Even in
yeah.
the rain, I was out
Yeah,
there.
yeah, it's just, and they're just,
So much fun.
and you know, they're just laying rocks and they were so fun and
Oh,
funny.
yeah, they were having a
just
ball.
talking to you,
Yeah.
you know, they hardly looked at what they were
Yeah.
doing, they were so good at it, you know. Every once in a while, they had a straight edge, they pull out and
Mhm.
check the tilt and stuff. But-
So nice.
So that's part of it, just thinking about organic ways of if they really do wanna build flood walls, what are some of the things we could do to mitigate that?
And he was here a lot. I
He was here a
remember that.
lot, yeah,
He
I
just
spoke
was
to
here
him,
a lot.
I spoke to him twice, and, they were all, the day they finished going down the steps at the museum, you know, they actually built the wall down the steps. And he and the Wallers were all there drinking a beer, and,
Yeah.
really proud of themselves.
Yeah, I did not do the assignment right, I don't think. I just got really excited about everybody and I tried to put it all in one.
That's cool.
Right.
Well, I
Great.
But I actually really love pieces that are interactive, that bring people, that, you know, where you can interact with it, you can sit underneath it, you can be a part of it. I love like pieces that call in nature or call out, you know, like the hams in in Venice, or, you know, the artist behind it was just kind of calling out how it's sinking and things like that. But yeah, so it's kind of a smattering of things that I just absolutely adore. So
Patrick Doherty's, he has one on the SCAD campus, and it was fun watching all the kids. I mean, the kids hang out and interact in it constantly, and I really enjoyed watching
Yeah.
them interact with those pieces there.
I watched a video of him and how he makes and how he chooses and makes
Yeah.
his
Yeah,
pieces,
pretty
and
awesome.
it just was really beautiful. And then who doesn't love a good jacket?
Stacy, you were about to say
Oh,
something.
I was just, is that supposed to be kind of like a tree canopy, like on the right?
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Is that what the,
Mm-hmm.
to create shade? So
yeah.
it's like kind of dual purpose?
Yeah, so it was an installation in New York, and it was along, I forget where in New York, but it was along like a long path, and so it kind of created like this like nice earthy, but it also included, I think she also has like plants up in there as well too, so it also kind of created that like green element, but yeah, it also had this like reflective element, so as people walked, you could see the reflection up in it as well too. So yeah, it was really, really cool, but it was along a pathway, and, you know, if you're saying about the sun.
Yeah, oh, right.
Yeah. And then the speaking willow one too is just really sweet. I love installations, or I love pieces, you know, like there's, the piece outside of the LACMA, with all of the different light poles outside with the different levels, like something like that too. I think things like that are really fun, where people can kind of gather around, and it can produce like a ambiance.
And Lorenzo Quinn is Anthony Quinn's son.
Right.
Oh.
You all don't know who, too young to know who
Yeah.
Anthony Quinn was.
He was famous.
Thorpe
Okay.
I like the idea of a lot of these pieces that have created shade.
Mhm.
As things appear to be getting warmer, especially on a day like today, the idea of a lot of these places offering, or, you know, the kinds of works we think about offering opportunities for not only their aesthetic value, but then their real practical value, is something to have in our little pea brains. I like that.
I really love that, but I also love the idea of like bringing in plants, like, you know, the green roof, is it over, I don't know, the library.
The library.
Yeah, on like
Yeah,
on the
yeah,
library,
yeah.
or the
Library.
opportunity to bring
There.
in, like,
No.
just, you know.
That way. There.
Cool,
Okay.
Alright,
So all
so,
of yours got one slide, cause I started with you.
oh, thank you.
Cause you were the first one to send me stuff.
I sent stuff early because I was afraid I'd forget. Okay, so when I started thinking about public art, I couldn't think of any specific piece except for the cauldron. But I chose not to do that one because I was like, I want to do some research and find some stuff I've never seen. And so I was mostly kind of thinking about art that I could see in our community or that would inspire something that could come to our community that was either functional or historic, spoke about our history. So I just thought this was a beautiful piece because in this area in particular with our rich history of the indigenous people that were here when this area was then settled. But I also like the modern twist on it with the metal and the very geometric shapes that create it. I don't know this artist, but I just did a deep dive on the images, and this is what I found. I thought it was beautiful, simple but powerful. The next slide. Okay, so disclaimer. This is my old art school college roommate. His name is also Jason, which is why to this day my wife still calls me Mo, because within 30 minutes of going to school, it was determined that I needed to go buy Mo from Missouri, so we could keep us straight. But Jason and his team, they put together, they do a lot of different pieces, but I kind of focused on this art. He's done multiple pieces, but what I loved about it is it reminded me of when I was a kid and the Nelson had this giant piece of artwork that was about the size of a detached garage that was made out of ship parts that was literally made for kids to to climb on. And these pieces are not a don't touch type kind of art. It's just like climb on it, interact with it. It glows at night. It's whimsical. And I did check with him just out of curiosity. Like it's been 30 years, but we don't talk on a regular basis, but we communicate through Facebook sometimes. And he says he has dealt with communities and actually has multiple projects currently with municipalities, so he understands the process if this was a direction anyone decided they wanted to go.
Those are Burning Man to me.
They were at Burning Man.
Okay, that's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They've been at Burning Man a few times, yeah. Okay, moving on. So this piece, again, what I loved about it is it was very interactive and it changed depending on the time of day, but also the lights in it constantly change. And then it has a mirror element to it. So you can go in it, you can walk around the outside. You can experience it from far away just watching the lights change. Like in my mind, I saw this also over by where the old IB French building was, because you could see it from the highway. You could go explore it, come into our downtown and explore it, or something like this. It was just, would light up. Next one. So I think we spoke in another meeting about how murals would just be a really nice thing to add to, especially some of our buildings like in downtown Merriam or that were historic but also could use some beautification. So I thought this mural was beautiful, but Kansas City in general, like every year we had that Spray KC where tons of graffiti artists come to downtown Kansas City and just do murals everywhere. So it just also seemed like it kind of could tie into that and expand if someone's interested in mural art, causing them to come to Merriam.
What's our perspective on something like that on the sidewalks?
I
Oh,
love
yeah,
that
totally.
one.
Yeah.
Or like a streamway trail.
Right? I mean,
Yeah.
Going down.
Yeah, for
Right.
sure.
Or a bridge going over something.
Grass line for the animals.
Well, I looked at this artist, I really like what she
Yeah.
does. She's prolific, she's really knocking out a lot of big,
Yeah.
big works, yeah.
It doesn't feel like typical mural art too.
No, that's
it
the-
feels more like
No.
art.
That's the thing is when I was looking at mural art, I came across her stuff and I felt like it was very different. It wasn't the typical stuff that you saw out there, and it was just beautiful, I felt. Yeah.
Where is she? Is she in Chicago?
No,
I didn't look
I
at
believe
this.
she's in New York,
Chicago.
I believe she's in New York, she's,
Yeah, I didn't actually look,
yeah.
I don't remember where she was from. I did this, when did you send that?
It was long, it was 3 weeks
Month
ago.
I literally did this
He
like,
like
I
replied
think
immediately.
the day, I was so excited. Yeah. Alright, next one, please.
Yeah, you threw quite a bit.
I was excited. So, this one I just again thought tied into Merriam really well because it tells a whole history along this wall, and I feel like Merriam has a really strong history that we could tell through a giant mural. And we have a lot of big vacant walls, like the IKEA wall along
Yeah.
along 35. Like it'd be
Yeah.
amazing if something.
Depends on who owns the wall.
The city does not,
Yeah.
but
Where is this, Jason?
I don't know. It was one of those things where I think that was a company that did this art, right?
Okay.
I can't remember. It's been
I
so.
didn't get a chance.
There were a
to
few.
Brothers.
There were a few pieces. I think that I was wondering if this is. I think this is over off of Am I right?
Oh, so this is Kansas City.
I think it is.
Looks just like the bridge down in the West Bottom.
Yeah.
That looks like the
Woods
box.
Weather, going down
Yeah.
towards Woods Weather and all that.
Yeah.
I was actually thinking it was down by running parallel to the river, but over by Gibbs Road.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, somewhere in the West
Again, just a
Bottoms.
little.
Oh,
bit
you mean,
south of Woods Weather.
Richards Drive. or whatever.
220
Yeah,
feet
yeah,
long.
where you go off the old Broadway Bridge. Yeah.
Oh no, I was.
No?
Shoot, why am I not? I can't think of the name of it. Where?
It's at the 9th Street Garden.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Oh, okay, 9th Street Garden, yeah.
Sorry, Millennial.
Come down the
Google
road
it for
and
you.
Yeah, my brain was not working. I forgot that this was local.
They're called Evolution 816.
Mm.
So it's multiple artists that are collective.
Because my last two art pieces were actually, or my last three, I think this one included, were not a specific artist, but like two of them, well, especially one of them is not like what I think is beautiful art, but I like the concept, which is shade. So,
This was just painted last May, or it just had an opening last May. It's new.
Yeah, this is all pretty new.
and what you can't see really well from this picture is in the background here is like what looks like an old map. So you can see like
Oh.
roads, and it almost looks like it's the city's map showing plots.
It
So
was done in collaboration with Spray Casey.
there you go, Spray Casey. I'll promote that every time I can.
Seems like Merriam's got a lot of walls.
I mean,
Mhm.
Julia did a good job calling out a lot in the master plan. I
Oh,
think.
yeah, yeah.
And I think it could be interesting.
And
just
kind
to
of
see.
underpass areas.
Mhm.
You know, I'd like to see those spicked up.
So this next piece, again, I didn't think it was beautiful art, and it was done by Tilt Design, which, you know, I'm sure urban planners and developers just hire them to come up with some sort of, you know, public area thing. But what I liked about it, similar to the other pieces, is it's a tie into nature, and it just provides shade and creates interesting shadow. So, you know, along Turkey Creek or the downtown area.
Benches are cool, like how they create planters.
Yeah, so I thought, I came across, I did a lot of sunshade searches before I found this one, and I just felt like this one was a great culmination of everything else I was seeing in one. But I think it'd be nicer if like a true artist could design something instead of a firm. And then the next piece, which I think is my last one. Oh, that's it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Did I miss something?
No. There was a piece of art that I almost put in, but again, it was from my old art school. After I left, they actually did a giant letter A with a small RT at the top that went from one side of the street to the other over the street that leads into the school.
Nice.
But then I also have a big problem with this piece of art because it's literally the word art at an art school. So when I went to go revisit my school and I saw that, I was like, if I turn that in as one of my homework assignments, our teachers were known for, if they hated your art, they'd like wing it across the room so you how horrible you were at what you do. So I just imagined that this piece would go flying across the room. But what I liked about it was how it tied, kind of like the walkway that you on. Yeah, it tied two sides of the street together, and you actually interacted with it every time you drove.
Sure.
Where'd you go to school to?
The Columbus College of Art and Design in Ohio.
Okay, so that was all of those, correct?
Yes.
I know some people have timelines, so, one other item that I wanted to bring up from
Applause.
the floor.
Yeah.
I think everybody- I think that was
Great
extremely
stuff.
helpful to
Yeah.
all of us, I know it was to me. The last item was, in terms of the master plan, I think, given that we're looking at a lot of different, the 1% and other opportunities from a business perspective, to have a summary view of the master art plan, instead of handing a business this 100-page thing, that we should have something that is a 1 or 2 page summary of that. And so I wanted to make sure that the committee wanted to do that we could have Ms. Lauren do that for us. The reason I bring that is so that she can have the time to do that. So if you guys are for that, I would make a motion to do that. Would someone second that?
Sure.
There you go.
Sure.
Yeah, that sounds like a good
Seconds over
idea.
here.
Yeah.
Because I think, I don't know how many people read it all the way through. I mean, I think everybody did, maybe.
I'm a jump arounder.
I skipped a little.
No, I
you know.
really put the time in. I
It's
read
more
it.
of more of an infographic.
It was
Yeah.
easier to read once we had the stylus. for sure.
Yeah.
It was easier to read to me personally after we had the like pretty version that we got.
Yeah,
Oh,
no, it
yes.
was, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because
Yeah.
it makes it more interesting, which is the point, right?
Yeah.
Of-
Right.
It was easier to read it outdoors in the garden than to read it inside. And I did read it 3 times. I know I read it 3
But
times.
I think like an elevator pitch would be nice.
Yeah.
Get
Yeah,
people in
yeah.
and then be like, oh, welcome to our book club.
Yeah.
Well, it's like our financial report, right? Like our public
Yeah.
financial
Yeah.
report that we got
That's
on
what I was
Monday
thinking.
night. Like
The
it's so
bathroom.
much easier to digest and explain to people or just as a general public than reading the entire financial report for the entire year.
If you're curious about the city's finances, read the PAFR.
Yeah.
Award winning.
Oh,
The award-winning popular annual financial report. It's only
Wow.
8 pages, maybe 10. I can't
Instead
remember.
of 260.
Yeah.
Okay.
It gives you the highlights.
Is there anything else?
Mm-mm.
That's all I've got. Unless
Okay,
you guys have questions.
someone wanna make a motion to adjourn?
I do. What do I say? I don't know. I
Yeah.
make a motion to adjourn. I second it.
Alright, so done. Let's-
Can you do
let's
that
get out
when
of
you're
here.
new?
I don't know.
Yes.
I
Sure.
do.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah.
You can do all
You're
kinds.
not-
You have the power now. Thank you.
Thank you.
Your,
Really creepy on your books.
Your
The food
slide
gifts
presentation went
from
very
Merriam.
well.
Oh, yeah. I just
Did you?
listened
Did
to
you do
her,
that?
I did.
interview
Nice.
on yesterday.
Or something.
Oh, yeah. I forgot though, because that was right after I came on.
Oh, it's great, it's great, it's great. It's just, there's a lot of water going in that.
Okay.
I didn't really believe very well.
So in and out,
So can I contact you and see if you want to take
Lot of
that
work.
or whatever?
Yeah, and then kind of.
Okay.
Well,
I know, I have a lot of, actually, I just still have like.
Yes,
there. I have like the.
It is one of those,
Just
like,
like one.
skills,
And
especially, I mean, like, when it comes to the software.
Yeah, and then I have like the family
Yeah.
one.
I mean,
Yeah,
I
me
think
too.
it's-
I find the one with the three-ring binder and it's all.
And mine's like written in and.
Yeah.
Well, and like we like to like.
Yeah.
What?
That's each other.
Come sit
Yeah.
Come sit before.
Do you recognize this?
Yeah, that's what I know. They don't tell you.
Sometimes they go on vacation and they come back.
Yeah,
and
it's
they're
written
like,
down,
"How
like
does
45
that
minutes.
Yeah.
Or 15 minutes.
Yes, I know.
Do you recognize this by chance?
Yeah,
So,
you really have
art
it.
installation that I saw on a road trip.
One of the best private gardens.
I do not.
Actually, I
I
saw
saved
one
this
Saturday
gift in my
that
Google
was
Drive.
That's
just-
great.
Like, access
I love that
to
texture.
I mean, it's much more.
Actually, this is
It's
a
like they define what the, what it is.
This
You
is
know what I
a
mean?
public participatory art.
Oh, I
In
love
fact,
it.
this is my old cell phone case. They have spray paint cans.
And you
It's
just
in-
start adding
It's in a
on.
cornfield, there's sort of a defined area, although there's not really a fence, so it's not like you shall not cross this line. There's a few little parking lots, but mostly people stick towards, it's called Cadillac Ranch.
You again.
Yeah, I am familiar with that.
And I don't know how long this thing's been there.
A long time.
The ground looks a little bit trashy, but I'm sure somebody cleans it up every once in a while. This was us.
This
This
is
was my husband.
It's in Fairway, it's a couple blocks. away.
Awesome.
This was
It's-
my
it's just
contribution. My
astounding.
contribution.
Really
Awesome.
doing some plans, but it's just-
I love it.
So, but I like that people get to interact with each other.
I love.
Sometimes it's stupid and childish, but whatever.
Yeah, it
It'll be
doesn't
gone in a
matter,
day.
right?
Because
Yeah.
it's ever
Someone will
changing.
cover it over
Yeah,
and
it's
the
really
next thing will
good.
be there and yeah,
Pretty
that's
neat.
great.
Always something new to see.
Yeah.
And I think I sent you this, didn't I?
You did.
So
Yep.
that's a little bit weirder,
Yeah,
less
he
art
really-
and more
he's
like,
really-
or less painting art and
It's more
more.
conceptual.
Not like
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Looks like it could
Well,
also
I
break.
like the,
Yeah, I
But-
think about some of those from a
Yeah.
vandalism
I mean, I
perspective,
like
you know,
that.
some
Yeah.
of the things we viewed, but you know,
Yeah.
it's inevitable. I can't forget my hat and my glasses. Keep the sun off my little bald pate.
Have you heard of Cadillac Ranch?
I'm retired, so I.
Have you heard of Cadillac Ranch?
wait to be
No.
No?
Yeah.
Where is it?
But, you know,
This is,
evenings and stuff, you
about
get really
20
nice
minutes
as long as
west
it's
of
not too
Austin,
hot.
Texas.
Yeah, or something like that.
And my husband and I were on a vacation,
But,
Yeah.
and I was sort of navigating / finding diversions as we were getting bored driving.
Okay, thank you very much.
is this in
Yeah, 'cause I'd also like
the,
to get some
Big
history
Ben
on how
area?
you,
I
got to
don't know the
him,
neighborhoods
you know,
in that
too.
area.
Oh, well, 'cause he was pretty.
I just know it's west
from
of
our
Austin.
oh my God.
Have you heard of this?
No.
Is Amy's mother.
So
Look
this,
at that, they're old cars.
it's old, they're all Cadillacs.
And so I
And
think
they've been
he
there for
always
like
kind of
30 years.
kept
They
us
buried them at a certain angle. They're
arm's
all
length
at the same
because
angle,
of
kind
that
of
relationship.
reminds me of
Whoa.
Stonehenge a little bit.
Know him that well.
This was in
Neat.
2021.
Like it, like
Yeah,
it.
they're dead. yeah,
And
yeah.
everyone
So you-
used like a little,
But they're buried like that.
they're all in a line and they're all at the same angle. No?
Amy's mother.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But,
And I
it's been there
lived
so
in the house
long,
that
you can
they
see
grew up in.
so many people have visited it. This is, I got some neat close-ups of it. It's just caked on. But it's sort of next to a cornfield. I don't know if it's actually government owned or if it's the cornfield operator,
That's
but
interesting.
there's a little hut selling spray paint and people bring their own and they leave them in an orderly pile for people
Wow.
That
to,
adds up.
and it changes every day.
Oh,
and
that's nice.
I actually had a cell phone case
He was a
that I
challenge.
painted on
He
the,
was very opinionated.
on the actual car,
Wow.
carried for a little while. But this is
Wow.
beautiful, and I liked that it was interactive
Oh, yeah.
and that people, like everyone was the artist, essentially.
Yeah, that's
So-
nice. That's,
Have a nice one.
Yeah.